All right, is this thing working? Let's see. Are we actually live? Because it's saying that I can just do it from my webcam. Let's see. We'll double check. Uh-huh. Let's see. Okay, it's actually working. It's actually working. Yes, I am at. Fantastic. Let's set this up. I've got going on Instagram as well. So yeah, hi. Vibe with Trav, episode 11. This was called Vibes with T Cook, but I don't know. I think we need to change the name a little bit, make it a bit cooler. Just bear with me. Why isn't this staying up? Stay up, motherfucker. Perhaps it's this one. This one. This one. This one. About 5 different things to turn on this thing, and none of them actually making any difference to that motherfucker. Bear with me. It's that one. There you go. All right. Just let me turn myself on here. There we go. All right. So this is episode 11. Let's let that set up. Okay, cool. And we are live. Episode 11 of my off the cuff live streams. Now, I do tend to have some subjects planned usually. This time I just thought I'd go for it. I've got the inspiration, got the motivation to do a live stream. It's been quite a while since I spoke to you guys in this modality, but loads has happened. In fact, I think the last live stream I did like this, just a random general live stream, was about 6 months ago. Oh no, more than that. It was like the beginning of the year, wasn't it? It was the beginning of the year. That's incredible. Wow, how quickly this year has gone. How has your year been so far, guys? We are now in this 9th month of the year. Jeez, it's gone so fast. I've had a really, really good year. I hope you've all had a very, very good year. If you're just joining, welcome to the show. Nice to have you on. I'm going live on 2 platforms right now, so I'm going to be looking at 2 different cameras. So someone's just asked how many come on the live IG. Well, it's been like 8 months since I've done one on here, and I usually was doing them on my main account, my main account, the business account, shall we say, the Open One podcast one, and there's like 50,000 people on there. But then how many actually come to the live stream? Well, that varies, because actually maybe I should try it again, because recently I've noticed, which is really amazing, that it's been completely unshadow banned. My Open One podcast account with 52,000 people on it has been completely unshadow banned, and that's incredible. Like, I couldn't believe that actually happened. Hold on. So let me just post this link because I'm on YouTube as well. So I'm just going to try and manage 2 streams at the same time. It should work. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so it depends. With the account, even if it had 52,000 people, not that many people would join from that 52,000. But it was shadow banned the last time I did a live stream on this, so maybe a lot more people would actually join now. Who knows? However, it doesn't really matter. I don't care if nobody joined. I sit here and talk to the camera. It gets recorded anyway, and people see the recording. It's actually a really good modality to just talk to people in real time, but also give a coverage of what's been going on collectively. A lot's been happening, obviously, and also to be able to just give a review of what's going on personally too, because there's a lot happening. There really, really is. Just bear with me. Okay. All right, yeah, so this year, because I don't even think it was even in creation yet, but the Climate Con's been huge this year. Absolutely massive. What's been going on with the Climate Con? If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check it out. I'll just put a little thing here in the chat. This movement is doing really well, and for good reason, because there's a huge agenda to try and control people using the climate change narrative. And that's what this has been set up to stop that shit. The climate con. Yeah, man, it's been amazing. It's been an amazing year for this movement, and it's just getting started, really. When I first created it, I knew it was going to be a 5 year thing, minimum. Minimum. I knew that. But we also have something really cool coming up. If you haven't seen yet, in 4 days, we have a really awesome movement called Red Pill Day. And if you haven't heard of that yet, you need to get on that, because Red Pill Day is happening in 4 days. Now, although I fully support this, and I didn't create it, I'm just a part of it, and I'm going to be speaking on the day. I personally have almost completely given up trying to wake other people up, like almost completely. I'd much, much rather spend time helping people that are already awake. I found that that's such a better usage of time and energy and resources. Now, if any of you haven't come to that perspective yet, I feel like you will. I feel like everybody does eventually. Yeah, because people have to wake up themselves. It has to be this internal thing. And it can be helped along. And in many ways, the whole COVID madness really helped people wake up. But I often joked how Boris woke more people up than I ever could by imposing all this COVID madness, because although it was really devastating and we had to fight back and it was amazing what the activists did here, that provided the catalyst for people to look inside, some people anyway, and it woke up droves and droves of people. So there was this like polarization that happened that I still think is going on, by the way, and this is really, really exciting. If you are on this journey, if you are somebody who's awake and you're evolving and you're growing and you're developing and you're just doing all this cool stuff, there's a polarization happening, which means that I believe the awake are getting stronger, more powerful, more connected, whilst the people that are asleep are becoming more asleep. And that polarization, I think, is happening. Both at the same time, it seems, evil and good are both getting stronger at the top ends. The top ends of humanity on evil and on the good, both are getting more powerful, more stronger. And that's quite exciting, I think. Of course, it's not good that evil is getting more power. And in some ways, they are losing kind of control. But then again, there are still a lot of people that are asleep. They do believe the media and all of that. There is still that aspect. However, what I'm seeing is people that are awake, people that are evolving and growing and developing and putting in the time and the effort to work on themselves, to get to know the world around them, to get to know themselves, to get connected with God, and all of these amazing things. They're getting more powerful, which is really fucking exciting, I think. At least somebody who's living living that timeline, I think it's fucking awesome. Like the life that you can build for yourself right now. Sorry, I'm on 2 platforms, just bear with me. The life that you can lead right now, if you are awake and you choose to align yourself with your heart, find your purpose, find your true calling in this world, you can create an amazing life for yourself. And I have. I really have. And I'm not saying that right now my life isn't without challenges. I tell you what, it still is chock-a-blocked full of lots of work, and it can be very stressful, and there's long work days sometimes. But my life is incredible when I look at how much freedom I actually have and what I do to help people. It's amazing. Imagine nearly all of your time, other than free time, having fun, enjoying, where you're just taking a break, all of your working time is aligned with your heart. It's aligned with fighting back against evil, and it's aligned with helping people and just helping people create a better life for themselves. That's incredible. And anybody can actually come and join that. If you haven't yet, you can find your purpose, find something that helps people, that makes money, that you really, really enjoy doing. Everybody can get that. I do believe that's actually part of the game here, is to find what that actually is. And hi to people joining. There's a couple of questions here. Let me just touch on that. So somebody's asked that will there be another lockdown? Now, I don't actually think there will. They might try, and I think in America right now there's more of a push for this sort of stuff. In the UK, I'm not seeing much of it at all. Even on like the mainstream news outlets, I scroll through like the Daily Mail, I don't see anything about COVID, or Telegraph, or Express, or whatever. So it's mainly happening in the States right now. Then we have to think, why is it going on in the States? I think it's partly to do with the elections. Because I don't know if anybody here noticed, when did all of this come around? It was around the election year or in the United States. Just a bit of a coincidence. Now, of course, there were many other parts of the agenda. They wanted to vaccinate everybody, wanted vaccine passports, so on and so forth. So there was this agenda that seemed to have been cooked for quite some time, but it felt like it got released a bit prematurely. I don't know. And I wasn't the only person who thought this. It was like, this doesn't seem as smooth and as slick as other things in the past that their enemies have done to try and control people en masse. This seemed a bit hurried, a bit botched, a bit sort of like, we need to do something, but or like they had this in the background and they had to deploy it early. I don't know. Or maybe they didn't count completely on all of the people that were going to not comply and the massive resistance that happened. But I think part of it is to do with the elections. And if it's the case, then why would that be the case? It would only be the case if there actually is something to the whole Trump phenomenon and that they want to try and manipulate the elections again. Maybe that's why, right? Who knows? Maybe he is just still part of some other greater, I guess, trick or illusion or part of the club, so on and so forth. He does appear to be slightly different, and there does appear to be an agenda to try. It seems like we're seeing like the beginnings, the seedings of trying to get this agenda started again with the COVID bullshit. But I can't see it ever being the same ever again. There won't ever be that same level of fear. And if that's not that same level of fear, then they won't be able to get as far as they did with the agendas they did the first time round. So that is something that's to quite empowering, I think, to hold that and just not let yourself get caught into this fear. Because if you are somebody who is awake, if you're on the awakening journey, I do believe that means you have more power. And if you've got more power, then that means you have a greater say in what goes on here on this reality. And if you have a greater say in what goes on here, then if the evil forces of this world can get the people that are awake to fall into fear, then it's more of a victory than if they just get the normies en masse. Because, okay, yeah, they do still have a say, there's a lot of them, but I think because people that are awake generally are more powerful, especially if they get into spirituality and then evolve and so on and so forth, and they become this incredibly powerful being. If they can influence the minds of those people and get them scared, then it's more of a greater victory. So I personally don't think in the UK they're going to get away with lockdowns again. They might try, but I don't think it's going to. I don't think it's going to happen personally. Even now, you don't see anybody wearing a mask anymore. Like you see, like maybe less than 1% of people all around the country. I've seen less than 1% of people wearing a mask, even sort of now. So that's really cool. So I don't think we have anything to worry about with that. And I was talking about how. So let's get back on to what we're speaking about. How the polarization is happening, and I do believe that that's still going on. There is still this polarization happening, which is really exciting. I think it's very, very exciting, the fact that there is this polarization happening. Because when you get into it, it means that you can, right now, create an incredible life for yourself, even with all of the bullshit happening around. And it's calmed down a bit, obviously, since the peak of COVID, but there is still evil around. There is still this agenda that's trying to enslave humanity, and the climate con's a big part of that right now. However, this even with all of this, you can still create an amazing life for yourself. Now, this is something that I'm covering in my upcoming course, and it's to counteract the blackpilling that some people have, right? I've noticed this on this movement. That there are people that really intelligent people, you know, they're smart, they're switched on, they're awake, they've been awake for ages. But then they start getting into some deep, dark rabbit holes and they get sort of stuck and they don't have what is, I think, essential. I think once you get so far on this journey, I think it's actually essential to have a spiritual foundation, to have some sort of a higher connection, a higher purpose, a transcended belief system, a metaphysical belief system. That I think is absolutely essential. I've just seen it time and time again. People get caught up in the black pilling. They believe, and this is crucial. This is a crucial one, and I think everybody needs to be aware of this belief, because it's probably one of the most disempowering beliefs out there, and it's so boring. Because some people in the truth of movements mentality can just simply be summed up with, whatever happens, I believe the most disempowering thing. I believe our enemies have complete control, and I believe that, yeah, basically that. And that's so disempowering. Can you imagine going through life and there's an event that happens, and the first thing that goes on in your brain is, I believe our enemies have complete control. I believe we always lose. And so I think the counteracting to that is a spiritual foundation. And someone's wrote in the chat, just some guy, isn't clear pill and black pill the same thing? I haven't actually heard the term clear pill. That's a new one for me. So I don't know what that means. But yeah, black pill is demoralization, basically. Somebody who's black pilled is fucking hopeless in trying to fight back against anything, because they don't believe that they can actually achieve or do anything to stop this agenda. And it's insane to have that belief, especially as someone who, I've lived through changing the world and doing things and creating movements, leading people to change this world around us and not accept what's going on. And I'm just one guy. There are lots of people like me. You guys are on the same path as me. You can influence this reality. We can change what goes on here. Just because our enemies have a plan and they make it seem like it's all very professional and it's all very going to happen, they put out their intentions that this is what's going to be, and it's all packaged slick and everyone's wearing a suit and blah 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 blah. That's how they market it. That's how they put it out there. And if everyone was just to believe it and accept it and think, okay, yeah, so look, they've got this agenda, we can't stop them, I'm black pilled, da 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 da, then they are successful. It gets put into reality, nobody fights back, nobody says no, and their agenda proceeds. However, if they put something out there and a certain number of people are like, no way, no way, I'm never going to comply with that, I'm never going to do that, you've got no fucking chance of me doing that. If enough people do that, then their agenda can actually fail. And I've seen their agendas fail in real time. Let me just, because a lot of people don't know about this. Yeah, even people in the UK that are awake don't know about this specifically, especially if they didn't live down in London. A lot of people don't know what happened with the NHS 100k. So when I say that, there'll be some people like, oh yeah, I know what happened there, the NHS 100k, but a lot of you won't. So let me just go over what happened with the NHS 100k. There was this movement that began in the NHS. The 100,000 people that were working in the NHS were prepared to quit, then take the jab. Right? So what happened is they rolled it out for care workers. It became no jab, no job for care workers. And there wasn't enough of a pushback. So the policy got enacted. Every single care worker that wasn't vaccinated lost their job, and everyone had to be vaccinated to work in the care sector. There wasn't enough of a pushback. So they got away with that. Then they tried to do it with the NHS. They tried to say no jab, no job. Right? So, but what happened? There was an insane amount of pushback. This NHS 100k movement started. There was a doctor that went viral questioning Sajid Javid, or whatever his name was, on Sky News, questioning the jab. There was this legal course action that was going to be taken. All of this stuff happened. There was massive protests in London. All of this came together, and it meant that the no jab, no job policy for the NHS failed. It completely flopped. It got stopped, and that was because people said no. They're like, no, they didn't want this. Enough people said no. Someone's asked the name of the doctor. I could get it. Maybe I can get it if I still. It was Stephen something. Stephen something or other. Hold on. Let me see if I can try and find that. Yeah, because that was amazing. And what if Steve James? That's the name of the doctor. If you Google Steve James, Sky News jab, Saji Javid, like I just have, you can find this doctor. And if you search even more, you could probably find the exact clip where he went viral on Sky News, basically questioning. What he did was question it in a very kind of clever and subtle way. But see, all of that came together, and that stopped that policy. Now, what if that didn't happen? What if there wasn't all of these brave individuals in the NHS that didn't want to take this, that then went, so then it became no jab, no job for NHS workers? That could have happened. That was looked like it was potentially going to happen, but so many people said no, so it wasn't successful. Now, if it was our enemies have complete control, there's nothing we can do, we are black pill demoralized, how could that never would have been able to happen? Because there was enough brave people that said no. We stopped their agenda. How amazing is that? So a lot of people don't know that story. So I like to tell that story just so that every single person in this country, in the world, in fact, should know that story, I believe. Everyone should know that story because it's an incredible story and it completely destroys the uh, black pill perspective that we can't do anything to change the situation here. We can. We can absolutely have an impact on the timeline. And I've seen it. I've seen it. I've lived through it. It's incredible. It's incredible what we can do. So perhaps that's just the main reason why I had to do this live stream. I had nothing planned for this. I know I had been a live stream been bubbling over for quite some time because it's been a while, but I hadn't found the time for it to all come together. However, I've just moved to a new place. Anybody who knows me knows that I move around, and I have been for many years. But this place I'm at's quite cool. It's got a good internet connection. I've got a nice desk, and I guess it was just a spontaneous stream. And maybe it was just to get that message out there. That could very well have been the main reason for all of this. But I think that was it. Hopefully, that was inspiring. I get really, really excited when I tell that story because um, it shows you, it tells you that we can change things here. So that's actually coming up in my courses too. It is one of the ways to avoid the potential blackpilling because that's one of the major traps. And on the course, I cover the major traps of the awakening movement and how to navigate them so you don't end up getting caught in unnecessary negativity. You don't actually derail your life in some ways. You can actually continue to live a good and happy life and reap the rewards of being on this journey because there are a lot of rewards once you get to a certain point. Reality starts to pay you back. It really does like there being awake people on this journey. So I think that was it. I hope you've enjoyed this spontaneous off the cuff live stream. I do like doing these. They're actually quite good now that I've got a good few things set up and I'm going to have a good flow for a while. Yeah, maybe there'll be some more live streams. So have a good rest of your Thursday, you amazing people. Big love.